GEEK Files, 2026, February 21, still in Burnaby. So, calm air winter of 86. Hudson Bay and the Co-op run a bunch of grocery stores, stores, including grocery stores, along the, in remote communities. So, for the west coast of Hudson Bay, they would train the groceries into Churchill, and then Comair had the contract at that time to fly the groceries up the coast and into all the remote communities like Eskimo Point, and Rankin Inlet, and Joe Haven, and so on. So what they would, in the winter, when it's 35 and 40 below, they had a mechanic fly along, and what the mechanic, so there's some spares on board the aircraft in case it broke down. Because if it broke down in Joe Haven at 40 below, it was sitting there till spring. And you just, if the props aren't turning, you ain't making money. So they couldn't afford to do that. The DC-4 that Comair had an inboard oil tank. I can't remember. It was heated, so you could pump oil out to one engine once before the oil in the line going out the engine was too sluggish to do anything with. It was a great place to sleep because what happened was the aircraft had a captain, first officer, loadmaster, and the mechanic. And the mechanic flew with the aircraft and helped the loadmaster load and unload during the day. And then once it got back to Churchill, the job was to cover up. The engines had covers, so you throw the covers on the engines. You would take the oil. The entrance to the airport, at that time, it was a double entrance with this huge heater blowing down in the entrance. So it was hot, sort of to help as an air curtain to keep the cold out. So you'd take the oil for the aircraft and put it under those to get it warm enough. You had just enough time. They parked the aircraft very close to the entrance. So you had just enough time. You got everything ready. You grabbed a 5-gallon bucket of oil. And by the time you got it to the engine, you got just about all of it out before it was really too sluggish to pour at 35, 40 below. You fixed snags on the aircraft that you could. You really didn't want to get too deep into anything. If there was a really something bad, they would drag it into the hangar. They didn't put it in the hangar because that cost money. So they could put it in the hangar and overnight, and everyone could have just gone home. And then the big job was you watch the oil temperatures. And once the oil temperatures got to about 0 Celsius, you went out, you stripped all the covers off the engines, you fired the engines up, you ran the engines until you got oil temperature back up, you shut the engines off, and then you covered the engines back up. And you just, that was the job for as long as the bay run lasts. And that was a couple days usually to get the groceries in and out. Usually I think they brought me food when I did the runs. I don't think I ever got into town to eat. I think they just brought me out, breakfast, lunch, whatever. And that was the bay runs. And it got me into some just wild places in the middle of nowhere in the far north and high and low Arctic. So yeah. but boy, there's some stories there too. Cargo apes. I can't remember why I was in the cargo shed, but they're loading the DC-4 with groceries. And it's, I don't know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And one of them yells out, "What do you want for coffee?" And the other one says, "I don't know, what you got?" And he says, "How about some Malamars or Malamos or Oreos?" Sure. And they took this box off and sort of threw it down underneath the forklift. So the forklift kind of crunched it. "Oh, spoils. Guess we can't ship that." And, when the grocery store did their inventory of what they got, they would just claim it on insurance as, shorts because it got spoiled. Yeah, fuck. Cargo apes. If you ever wonder what happens to people who just can't get their cab driver's license, they wind up as cargo apes. I mean, that's pretty unfair, but boy, these guys were just brutal. Anyway, making appropriate life decisions. You don't make any money, but you get good stories.